Sky Squad, we are back in the building, and we have got to talk about this mess going on with the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, in the earlier video, and if you're watching this, I'm actually recording this on what is this? Tuesday night, right? So if you're watching this on Wednesday morning when I'm putting it out, that's why I'm referencing the video earlier from today. I have a doctor's appointment early this morning, so I wanted to make sure that I was able to get this video out to you guys, at the start of the day. I like to put videos out in the daytime, early in the daytime for some reason. Anyway, with that being said, we got to talk about the exclusive that B. Scott released yesterday, okay? We know that the higher ups or the production company, whomever, is demanding a reboot, okay, for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Now, let's get into some real interesting tea that has been coming out ever since that news broke. All right, so first things first. Bravo, in case you guys did not know, has indeed responded, okay? Now, our friends over at TV Deets happened to pick up this bit of intel, right? Now, it's from an article in page 6 where apparently someone from the network has responded to the rumors. Now, it says nothing official has been decided, a source told page 6, blaming the reports on fan feedback that has suggested some viewers would like to see a change ahead of season 16. Now, um, let me interject a little something here. I'm gonna go ahead and tell y'all if B. Scott is reporting it, you can bet your bottom dollar, okay, that there is truth to what is being stated. And I'm going to give you guys some extra tea to let you know that this has been confirmed. All right. So it may be true that nothing official has been decided because of what we're going to read next. It says the network is reportedly casting new women as they always do towards the end of the season. Page 6 is reporting that they haven't been able to find reboot worthy women. Now, the quote is this that the source is providing. They haven't found any famous people of note that want to be on the reboot. And if they can't find any famous people that want to be on the show, then they can't reboot the entire show. So let's stop it right there. Why is it? Actually, I know why. I'm assuming that the network is looking for famous women because Atlanta has names, okay? Atlanta has names like Kenya Moore, like Kandi Burruss at this point in time. Even Drew Sidora was known. Sonia Richards Ross was known, right? And so if you stick around to the end of this video, I have a solution for that, okay? But for right now, what I would say is it's this desire to have names that I feel like is what is leading them in the wrong direction. If you are coming in with names, then you need to find names with actual connections to the current cast, right? But Atlanta doesn't necessarily, Housewives doesn't need names. Housewives, in my opinion, doesn't need younger women. Okay. Housewives, in my opinion, does best when either a couple of things are happening. One, it's a tight knit community of women who exist in the same universe, okay? The same neighborhood, the same as if you watch Funky Dineva did a great video breaking this down, and he talked about in it, and I loved it because he talked about the same country club. You know what I'm saying? Or I also feel like something he also stated, and I've always agreed with this, is that the women to me are better when they are more seasoned. And by seasoned, I mean they've lived some life, they have life experience. And that to me, those are the women that I feel like the Karen Hugers is a great example of what I think that the franchise is when it works best. When you have the Giselle type Karen relationship, they had the whole what I think the Jack and Jill connection amongst the Potomac group, and I think that's why that show has continued to work so well because that base is still there, right? But let's go on with what is being stated. All right. And again, stick around to the end of this video because I do have what I would propose as a great casting solution. All right. And now a separate second source denied the reboot rumors to Entertainment Tonight. The second source, however, tells ET no decisions have been made and likely won't be made until after the reunion airs, reports the entertainment outlet. So, let's talk about that. All right. A second source tells Entertainment Tonight no decisions have been made and likely won't be made until after the reunion airs. Now, let's get into some tea that I actually happened to catch earlier. And I want to point out that if you follow Housewives of ATL on Instagram, very clued in to the Real Housewives of Atlanta universe, right? So this is a quote from Housewives of ATL. The girls knew before the reunion. So the caption reads, just got word that the cast knew before the reunion that there could possibly be a full or a partial shakeup. I'm assuming this was said to kind of get the girls to perform to the best of their ability. And if you continue to scroll down, you will see what the owner of Housewives of ATL surmises could be the case. It's a great read, mind you, a great read. So I saw that, right? And so then what I did was, I don't know if you guys know this, but Kandi went live today on her YouTube for her subscribers. So if you're not subscribed to Kandi, head on over there and subscribe. So what Kandi stated in this live was that, yes, indeed, they were told, I think at the reunion or before the reunion, that there was the possibility that the cast could be rebooted. Okay. That Atlanta could be rebooted, but that no decision had been made just yet. So the girls were aware. So that goes into why Kenya Moore was able to tell, potentially, why Kenya Moore was able to tell Carlos that that the fans need to be careful what you ask for, because that's the reason why they got Marlo. Remember, she said that in the interview, right? So this then goes back to what Housewives of ATL said about the girls knowing prior to the reunion, or at least finding out at the reunion, right? So Kandi has confirmed that via her YouTube live. She also confirmed that Kenya Moore wasn't really too happy with her interview with Courtney. Okay. Because as you know, Courtney has had a lot of things to say about Kenya Moore in some recent interviews. She did an interview with David Yontef with Beyond the Velvet Rope, who is a friend to the show. But and she's also done, I think, maybe some other, interviews, and says some not so nice things about Kenya. And so Kenya was not happy with that. But Kandi states in her interview that the interview with Courtney was actually filmed like right around the time of the reunion or right after the reunion. So she wasn't aware of these things that Courtney was saying in the interviews about Kenya, because in her mind, this interview was recorded ahead of time, like weeks ago. And so the interview was out. And she also goes on to explain that, she prefers Speak On It to be for anybody that wants to come on and speak on it, whether she's getting along with that person or not. Okay. Um, fair, fair, but I also can see Kenya's point as well. You know, you're my friend, you're my girl. I can see why she would feel a certain type of way, but I can also see Kandi's perspective as well because Kandi's, you know, trying to run a business over there. You know what I'm saying? But I get it. I see it. I can see, and I can see that also being a potential conflict, you know, if all the ladies or any of the ladies return next season, right? Potentially. I don't know. All right. So there is that bit of intel that we have. The ladies did know no decisions have been made. And for Kandi, she states, listen, if it happens, it happens. There's nothing that they can do about it. They will just continue to march on and continue to do the things that they're doing because apparently she has a lot of other things in the works. Kandi and the gang, as stated by Todd, won't be out until at least 2024. The impression that I got from watching that was that, you know, that the deal had not been all the way solidified, but that it was, I think, most likely given the green light, and they need to continue to work through the, you know, contractual things, I would imagine. Um, if you can check out that live, if it's still up there, definitely go check it out if you're not, if you're subscribed, because it's good, some good information there. Good information there. Especially if you want to know about, you know, what's coming. And I would imagine that it would be interesting to see how the deal is sealed, because if they're rebooting Atlanta, you know, would that have any impact on Kandi and the gang? Or is it that the network would, I would assume, want to keep that relationship with Kandi because they see her as a value add for the network. And I think Housewives of ATL points that out as well. Um, so there's that. Okay, so again, stick around until the end of this video, and I'm going to tell you Actually, let's do it now. Forget it. In my opinion, if you're gonna reboot Atlanta, the only way to do it, to me, that makes sense, is a soft reboot. And by a soft reboot, I mean you got to keep. I think you keep some of the power players, and you've got to cut some of the other people who aren't necessarily showing as much of their lives as I think we would prefer. And I'm going to give you guys what I think would be a great solution. In my opinion, if you want to cast Atlanta and you want to give it new life, I think you've got to bring in some fresh faces. But if the network is interested in names in order to match sort of the marquee of the Kenya and the Kandis of the world and the Drews, and let's face it, whether you like Drew or not, Drew has a place in the world of pop culture, particularly the acting world, because she is an actress, right? That's what she was known for before. So, in order to, in my opinion, okay, bring on and bring out the best of Atlanta, this is what I would do. If we're gonna keep Kandi, my suggestion is that you also follow the escape drama. Kandi has an advantage in this situation in that she comes with, it's a package deal, right? Kandi comes with her husband, her mom, her family, and let me, to start things off, Kandi, Todd, and Mama Joyce must go to family counseling. We have got to see that so we can finally put that whole situation to bed. They've got to lay it all out on the table, in my opinion. The other thing that we've got to see is we have got to see the continued goings on with Escape. I think it's a travesty that we did not capitalize on what was going on the show, on the SWV and Escape show, that it did not carry over into, it was almost as if Real Housewives of Atlanta ignored that completely when you still had so much drama going on with the group. And I shell out a couple of dollars for Tiny and Tamika to make some appearances, or maybe even Latasha. I know that she may not do it, but a scene or two here or there in a therapy session, that whole situation still needs some resolve. And this is what's actually going on in Kandi's life, which informed why she was in seemingly such a bad, like, not I won't say a bad mood, but why she was ready to let any and everybody have it throughout the season. That's still going on. She's still on tour. Show us that fabulosity of what it is like for her to be on tour. I don't necessarily need, and let me state this, I don't need all the peaches to interact every episode. It is okay if we just simply follow the reality of what is going on. And the reality is, Kandi was out there winning awards and doing the stuff on Broadway, on tour. Follow that, okay? Follow it. Easy, okay? If we want to let's make this into something great. The next thing that we're going to do is, in my opinion, we're going to pay the men. We're going to pay the men a little something, something. The reason I say that is because I think it is proof that men can be messy, okay? And if you want to really give us housewives, then you give us the relationships. And with that comes the men. Break the men off a little something, something. I want to see what happens next for Drew and Ralph and how this whole thing plays out. I want to see, and I'm gonna get to why I say break the men off a little something, something, mostly because I want to see what happens with Drew and Ralph. How does that work as they continue to navigate this? And if you want to keep Courtney around and see what happened with her and Ralph, then keep her over there. She ain't got to be with the main group. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion. I know y'all don't like Courtney like that, but I want to see how this evolves. And you keep Allison on too, okay? Because Allison is Drew's Mallory, all right? And I want to see that relationship. And to me, it was a travesty that we didn't see more of Allison throughout the season. Then you bring on Tamar. Now I know what y'all gonna say, but right now Tamar is, I'm assuming, down to the Atlanta. She got the Dish Nation thing going on. Tamar has the advantage of having her family down there, so she comes with that, and not to mention, her and Kandi have a very complicated relationship. And I think it would be very interesting to see how they work through that or not. All right. Within the context of a group. And Tamar is still performing. And I got to tell y'all the truth. Tamar also comes with not only dynamic family, but dynamic friends. I'm going to name one name, LaTroy. Okay. And if you don't know who LaTroy is, go look up LaTroy. If you know LaTroy, you know exactly what I'm talking about. LaTroy he's one of those types of people that adds to, you know what I'm saying? Could add to her story. She's got so many famous friends, and we could see her work on Dish Nation as well. Then you bring in Keke Wyatt. Keke Wyatt got about 10, 12, 11, 13 kids. She got a whole family. She got brothers. There's a whole lot that comes with her. And you need a wild card on every Housewives show. Keke is a wild card. She's kind of like a Mary to me, from Salt Lake City. You don't know what Keke's going to say. You don't know what she's going to do. You don't know. She's going to give you, it's going to be fun. It's going to be comedy. It's going to be laughs. And last but not least, I would say that you bring in either Portia or Kenya. I don't know if you can keep both of them based on the budget, because I think, to me, Portia has a lot of story left in her. And I know it would take a lot of money to disrupt her piece, but the Atlanta that I'm casting for, in my opinion, we're not basing it on drama and scandal. We are basing it on following the lives of fabulous women who live in Atlanta and seeing how their lives intersect with each other. And I feel like these women are on a somewhat of a similar playing field in terms of their space and their status within not only the Atlanta community, but also the industry. And there's genuine connections here, right? For at least for the most part, right? So I think seeing Portia and Simon and their new life would add to the level of fabulosity. And how do all these women, like intertwine with each other? And then I would keep Kenya because she's a firecracker. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, and even with Tamar, she's in a new relationship. Where is that leading to? Can we can see that? And then seeing Kenya as listen, I don't mind there being a single, someone who is single in the group, because not everybody wants to be married, but she's looking to expand her family. We can still follow that. And again, she is a firecracker. So if you got to have one or the other, it's probably going to be between Portia and Kenya. Y'all take your pick, but that's just my opinion. Okay. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below about this. I would love to add Nene, but that's such a complicated situation that I don't even want to, dive into it any further. Because I just feel like I just don't feel like it's just probably not gonna happen. The other story that I wanted to talk to y'all about was Ty has been people have been really reading into some of her posts. Okay. One of the posts that she had written, and I follow her, or at least I check in on her page. She says females go through so much in life. The least you can do is be 6 foot tall. So on the neighborhood talk, they had caught it. I've been peeping her stuff too, and I kind of like trying to dissect it. And says, neighbors, y'all think Ty might have been throwing a little shade? And so Ty Young says, I've been posting this on my story for years. Something me and my teammates would joke about. I don't need to shade him. They are already dealing with a lot. So, is that shade within the not shade? I don't know. Who knows? But you know, I think one of the things that Kandi stated in her speak on it was that Ty was not looking to capitalize off this or get any hype from it. So, um, but I do wish that there was some commentary about what really happened with her and Drew, if anything happened at all. I mean, give us the tea, okay? Because we ain't getting it from Drew. We getting it from Mimi and Ralph and Courtney, okay? All right, y'all. So the last story that I got to tell y'all is something. I just want to give y'all this story because if you want to hear something petty, I got petty for you, okay? And this is probably the pettiest of the petty. And y'all know how I feel. I get a little drained when we got to talk about Kim, but apparently they then got to arguing again, and Kim then called the cops on Croy, and he allegedly locked her out of their Georgia mansion, which apparently they owe all the money on and things and not of that nature. Or sometimes it's money, sometimes it's foreclosed, and sometimes it's not, allegedly. Let me put the alleged badge up. But anyway, let me tell you about the petty part. So Kim was allegedly locked out of her house, according to Radar Online, after some explosive verbal dispute with Croy. All right. And so apparently this erupted after Croy slapped Zolciak with new divorce papers. So, they're getting a divorce again. Seeking full custody of the children, child support, and exclusive rights to live in the toxic mini mansion. I'm reading it verbatim. They say the toxic mini mansion they share in Milton, Georgia. Not the toxic, it's the toxic mini mansion for me, but that ain't the petty. This is the petty. In a symbolic gesture, Croy cruelly left a pillow outside the front door for his estranged wife. Not lock her out the house and leave a pillow at the door. She's supposed to sleep on the porch. Baby, when I tell you this is petty. Now I would a part of me would like to see it play out on a new season of Atlanta, but the streets are saying there ain't nobody interested in Kim no more. The streets are saying they're barely interested in the current cast. But I try to give y'all a way to revive this and make it really thoroughly interesting for the people. And I think if produced from the lens of we're gonna follow these fabulous lives of these fabulous women, then we can really bring back some type of maybe a new magic to a new Atlanta. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section down below, and I will catch you all in the next